Hello, my name's Duncan and welcome along to Back Away from the Donkey and Bath Books. Today I'm going to do a bit of short story talking. I read a lot of short stories, just sort of pick them up randomly, so I thought I'd just start trying to do videos on what I've read this week on short stories or other weeks. And I'm always interested in what you're reading as well. So this week I picked up Roger Zelaxny's Unicorn Variations, which is a book I love. I read it on release because I was into Roger Zelaxny short stories big time at the time, and I got some really good stories, and I was picked out one that I find quite interesting. Nobody sort of, I've mentioned this before to people, nobody really writes like Zelazny used to write. I love his descriptions. His descriptions are just wonderful, but he's also got some. It's beautiful, his descriptions, but they're also like pared back at points, if that makes any sense.
Above the wind and even the thunder, he heard the sudden shriek of a fellow seaman, random object of attention from one of their drifting tormentors.
But the story I'm talking about is a very short one. It's called, I'm just looking at the book, and I only am escaped to tell thee. I will put it one thing is that this was written originally for Rod Serling's Twilight Zone magazine in 1981, and then it was published in here in Unicorn Variations. And that will tell you much about it. It's got a bit of a sort of twist ending, and the ending is really good. And if you want to know what the end is, there will be a spoiler right at the end, and I will put it in bookmarks so you can see it, so you don't have to do the spoiler if you don't want to. But the story is of this guy on this boat, on this, it feels like big riggings boats, like pirate ship type thing, and it actually is what we discovered to be the Flying Dutchman, and it's all about his escape from it. But you've got some fabulous descriptions from Zelazny in this.
Trapped high in the rigging was a dead man, flensed of all flesh by the elements, his bony frame infected now by the moving green glow, right arm flapping as if waving or beckoning.
And they all gives a real sense of what it is. And yes, he does play around with all your stereotypes of what you think pirate ships are about, and it's almost plays on the stereotypes of people playing the devil at cards.
A mighty peal of laughter shook the ship. Van Berchem shuddered. The captain stayed in his cabin almost constantly now, with a keg of rum. It was said that he was playing cards with the devil. It sounded as if the devil had just won another hand.
Things like that. But the twist at the end is just works so well. So it's basically his escape from this ship, and that's all I can really tell you until you get to the last final bit. And I said it's not a typical Zelazny story, but what you find with Zelazny's short stories is they're very varied. Like in this one, you've got a book, you've got books about devil cars, and Holmes the Hangman is a great story in this, and there's always he never does what you expect him to do. Some writers, because they sort of stick with one main sort of genre, their stories not the samey, but they're all around sort of similar subjects. But Zelazny, you can never accuse his short stories of that. So there's this collection here, Unicorn Variations. There's The Last Defender of Camelot, which is a great collection as well, and The Doors of Face and Lamps of His Mouth, which I believe I've spoken before earlier on this channel, and that is probably my favourite of his short stories, and one of my favourite short stories of all time. It's almost a novella, really, but it is a stunning story. So if you've not read any of his short stories, I urge you to get them. So I've also written a piece up on my blog, sort of my sort of history with his short stories, which if you're interested, I'm going to put the link below. So now let's come on to the spoiler territory, and I will tell you the ending. and why it's really, really quite interesting. So yeah, spoiler, if you're this far, you will find out what the end of this story is. And I said it's for a Twilight Zone magazine, so it's a sort of thing you want. Still worth reading. So you've got this guy who's trying to escape the Flying Dutchman, and you have all the descriptions there, and he finally gets these barrels, and he escapes, and he gets picked up by the ship. This other ship, and he wakes up sort of 24 hours later because they've rescued him, and they're looking after him, and they tell him it's okay, you're safe now, after he's told the story about what went on his ship. But they go, you're safe now. Well, we're going back to port, and this is a really good ship with a really good captain, but welcome aboard the Mary Celeste. And I always loved that ending. But yeah, the story is called, and I will go and read it again because I keep forgetting. And I only am escaped to tell thee. You always picked titles like that on and off, Zelazny. So yes, enough of my rambling. Just a bit of a short one, and I hope to get you to read some Zelazny. And I said I've written a bit up on my blog today, which I think is quite interesting, and you may not. But if not, also pop across on my Discord because I'm putting stuff up there quite a lot, and there's only a few of us in there at the moment, and the more the merrier. Anyway, I'll speak to you all very soon, and there'll be another video probably on Monday, I think. I don't know when I'm planning for that. But yes, anyway, bye-bye.